happens is when the virus infects our brain, the brain cells actually start fusing together into this giant multicellular structures. And with that actually causes a lot of brain functions to not happen. And with that, that's what you see with the long COVID symptoms.
But not all of us have all of the post-COVID symptoms, though, do we? We don't all lose our sense of taste and smell. So what's happening there?
So if I were to speculate that, because research is obviously not quite there yet, I would say that the virus in different individuals can affect different parts of the brain. And with that, with some individuals that develop the loss in sense of taste and smell, I would imagine that the virus is wreaking havoc in these brain areas.
And is this fusion of brain cells, yes, particular to the COVID virus, or does it occur with other viruses?
Actually, there are a lot of viruses that cause neurological symptoms. So there are things like HIV, rabies, Japanese encephalitis virus, everything that causes brain to develop symptoms like measles as well, and herpes simplex, even our chickenpox virus. So it's actually not just isolated to the COVID virus.
So the question everybody wants to know the answer to, I guess, is this permanent? Do we know what's likely to happen over time?
You asked me a really interesting and really tricky question. I would imagine that if I were to think about it now, knowing what I know, I would say that it's quite permanent. And over time, I can imagine that these large structures of cells actually eventually might die because they don't get to do what they're supposed to do. So, yeah.
That's not good news for many who suffer these post-COVID symptoms, long COVID. Now, for this research, I understand that you made mini brains to experiment on. Tell us a bit about that.
So what we did was we took human stem cells and then we add different factors to give the cells the message that they need and the direction that they need to develop into different brain cells. And what they then go on to do is they then self-assemble into this 3D structure in a culture dish. And it's a really powerful tool because neuroscientists like myself can use these mini brains to then study our brain function in a culture dish in a very human relevant way.
So it opens the door to much more research into brain conditions and diseases then?
Yes, so we actually run a study and a couple of studies actually on drug development to look at, to identify drugs that could help in COVID and also in our main area of research is dementia.